Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Sosulski, and I'm going to talk to you today about a topic that I find incredibly interesting and exciting, and that topic is data visualization. I believe that data visualization is the medium, the primary medium today for the exploration of data, the presentation of information, and serves for terrific storytelling. So, who could guess what we're looking at here? You could shout it out or raise your hand in the green shirt.
Zip code map?
Zip code map. And what's the data?
Sales.
You. Okay, this is where you're coming from. So I kind of wanted to know how many New Yorkers are actually coming to this event. So how many people work or live in Manhattan versus the boroughs? And you'll also see that Jersey City and Hoboken are also representing here. I'm going to show you this example. What do you think this is a map of? Any guesses? What do you, speak up? People who moved here? It's a good guess. What's that? Yeah, so you might have seen this before. So this is an example. So this is an example from Trulia, which is a real estate website. And what we're looking at is, when you get to that, when you're a New Yorker and you get to that time where you have to look outside of the city for one reason or another, this is where New Yorkers are looking to move to. And what can we conclude? Well, maybe they're looking for more space, out looking in, Long Island or Edison, New Jersey, but staying in the metropolitan area, or perhaps they're looking for sunshine in Florida or LA. Let's take a look at this example. What do you think this is an example of? Bicycle routes, transportation. Right, so movement in a metropolitan area. And what's that movement? We're looking here at pathways of runners. And this is something that Nike did. So all the runners that use the Nike Plus apps and publish their data to the Nike website, their pathways are visualized on, oops. The pathways are visualized back on that screen before. And what you can see is the individual pathways and also the collective energy as a city as a whole and how those pathways change over time. Here's another example. Any guesses? We know it's Manhattan. What else? Other thoughts? Well, this is a heat map with certain regions highlighted, higher densities. I'm sorry?
Where people hang out.
Where people hang out. So this is an example of Yelp restaurant review and review data. And here, this is actually those reviews that mention the word frat. So you'll notice the Upper East Side here, a little below 14th Street, kind of West Village, East Village going on here. How about this one? Hipster, yeah, right? So a story like this, we wouldn't necessarily be able to tell without visualization. We just look at a simple list of reviews. Those individual reviews don't really add up to a whole unless we're able to visualize it, and we could tell a much more powerful story than just a list alone. According to a great educator and researcher, Stanley Pentland, he describes us in this era of big data as being all walking data generators. So what does that mean? Well, our digital exhaust, whether that includes our searches, our runs, our reviews, are those things that companies are collecting about us that we might not think that are that interesting, but actually we can tell really powerful stories through visualization with that kind of data these days. I'm going to switch to a more serious topic where we can use visualization to kind of understand the spaces around us and for social, political, and economic perspectives. So Here's an example. Again, we're using the city as our kind of foundation, our commonality here. And you'll see the darker regions here. This actually represents the median income by census tract in New York City. And the dark green are those areas of the city where people are more wealthy and have median incomes over $117,000 per year. And the dark red areas indicate those poorer census tracts in New York City with median incomes of $21,000 or below. And this is from a project called Rich Block, Poor Block. And you kind of see the disbursement of the different blocks within New York City. We can look at this a little bit differently by rental prices. And we can see the dark red here, right, represents those areas of the city with the most expensive rents, $1,600 a month or more, and those areas where there's least expensive rents. So that would be something like $400 or less per month. Here's a visualization that presents one perspective on a very important report that came out in September 2012, prior to Obama's re-election. And that report was the jobs report of September. And Republicans and Democrats alike were really looking forward to this report. And the New York Times did an amazing piece showing how Democrats and Republicans interpreted this data differently. And here we're looking at the Democrat point of view, showing that the unemployment number was actually 2 points lower than it has been, while the Republicans indicate that for the past 43 weeks, unemployment's been above 8%. So it's the same data, but two different stories that you can tell with that. So I'm going to argue that data visualization is the interface for us to explore ideas, to explore data, and really a way for us to communicate powerful messages. Thank you.